I just thought I'd make a little video to do a cockpit tour and other bits and bobs for those who wanted to see. A few people have asked me, so figured I'll do it. So it's quite primitive. She wasn't built for any fancy technologies. It's all quite basic, which is lovely. In terms of instruments, you have your tachometer or RPM gauge, ASI or airspeed indicator, turn and slip coordinator, altitude indicator, and engine temperatures and pressures. You've also got a fuel primer here to prime the engine. The fuel selector valve, either on or off. This is your trim, which helps you maintain a set altitude and reduces workload by moving the tail. So as I move it forward, you can see it moves up. Move it back, it moves down. I'll probably make a clearer cut of that in a bit. Other bits is down by the front seat you have the carburetor heat, which prevents engine icing. Got the fuel tank in front of the front seat's knee, which the fuel gauge is this thing. It's just a little float in the tank, and it floats with how much fuel you've got in there. We also have a little wooden dipstick you can use to gauge how much fuel is in there. There's no electrical system, so we have a little handheld radio for communications. We have small batteries in there that power the intercom, which is here. You have the volume and the squelch control, and where you plug in your headset. So that's so the pilot and the passenger can talk to each other. These are your magnetos or your ignition switches, just by there. Obviously you have a stick. You also have one in both seats. When flying, you must fly it from the back when solo, due to weight and balance. But when dual, so when I still have a passenger, I still decide to fly from the back for a bit extra fun. And then there's the rudder, which is down by the sides, and then the front seat has them as well. Now this aircraft has rudder pedals and heel brakes as opposed to rudder pedals with toe brakes. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but once you're used to it, it's easy peasy. So that's your brake, that's your rudder. The rudder moves the tail. Now quite interestingly, you can either fly it open or closed cockpit. You can either fly with it open like it is here, or even with the other side window down. And this goes all the way down as well, which is always good fun. I prefer to fly it open. When I'm by myself, I usually have it open. If I have a passenger, then I usually leave it down to them as if we fly open or closed. When you're actually flying it and you're sat in it, you can't see over the nose when on the ground. So when taxiing, you sort of do a snaking motion to be able to see everywhere. For those wondering her role in the war, she served in North Africa and Italy with the US Army, providing Army liaison missions such as observation, so getting up, spotting Germans, artillery liaison, so telling artillery units where the Jerrys are, calling in the artillery, telling them if they're firing too short or too long, so on. Other L4s were used for air ambulance work, VIP transport, leaflet bombing, all sorts. She's not very fast because of course she only goes about 70 miles an hour, 70-80 miles an hour, or really cruise sort of 65-70 knots. Not very fast at all, but it's perfect for the role she was in. She's brilliant at getting in and out of rough short strips as well, which is lovely fun. Her engine is a Continental A65, which is a 65 horsepower engine. There's no electrical system, you have to manually swing the propeller to start it, because there's no starter motor, of course, which is safe, as provided you do the same thing every time and follow your procedures. Some people prefer to start it from the front, others prefer to start it from the back. Both equally safe, both have their advantages and disadvantages, yet it's still a highly debated topic, which is understandable. I prefer to start it from the front. So what you do, I'm not going to do it now of course, but you have your hand flat on the blade, fingers not around the blade, and you're making sure you're at the prop arc, swinging your way. Some people do a little leg swing to sort of put weight into it, others don't. I do a leg swing, but it's not to put weight into it. For me, it's more so, I feel like if I move my leg down and my arms down at the same time, it sort of encourages me to start walking away at the same time that I've pulled the blade through and started it. Since there's no parking brake as well, if I have someone with me, preferably I'd get them to hold the brakes in the cockpit. I have it chocked and they'll hold the stick back to keep the tail down. If I am by myself, I will chock it. If I'm able to, I'll tie the tail to something so that it can't go anywhere. And I have a bungee cord to hold the tail back. Now that I've showed you all this, I will show you how to start it. You've already turned her through at the start of the day to get the oil round and get her ready, and you've completed all your pre-flight checks. Fuel on. Throttle cracked. Around about 4 shots of prime, a bit more if it's a cold day. Turn the blade through a few times to suck in. Contact, mags on. Swing and she should start. A quick check of the oil pressure to make sure it's okay. Now just pull the chocks out and you're away. Thanks for watching, I hope to see you again next time.